Hey there everyone, Malcolm back again with another video. And firstly, I want to apologize for not having a video for the past 2 weeks. I'm very sorry, but I've been working on multiple different projects, and it's not really an excuse, but the reason is because I had a lot of unfinished stuff, and I didn't want to just put out unfinished stuff, on my YouTube channel. I wanted to have something that was finished that I could show you guys and do a talk over. And if it wasn't finished, it wasn't to my liking, or mainly I wanted it to be perfect, but I realized, look, I'm never gonna get anything to be perfect the way I exactly want it to be, so might as well show you guys what I have. So really quickly, at the beginning of the video, you just saw the little, I guess, background notes I had on the character, kind of like what I should plan towards to have within the design. You guys can go back and look at it again, but if not, I'll just tell you right now what it basically said. I want this character to be somewhat of like a boss character that you would encounter in the game. I want this character to be like a tank and also kind of like a DPS. So he's a damage dealer, but also a guy that could, take a lot of hits. He mainly came out to be looking more like a tank. So, hey, that's just how it worked out. So, I mean, it wasn't an exact plan. It was just a plan of action that I can somewhat follow to make designing this character a bit easier. So I recommend doing that at the beginning of your process. You can or you cannot, but to me it makes it easier to have some sort of plan going in. So now that I know what kind of character he needs to be, it just makes everything a little bit more streamlined and a bit easier. So as you see right now, I'm just doing a bunch of thumbnails that kind of follow that criteria that I had a little bit earlier. Again, I said he needs to be like a tank. So a lot of these sketches and thumbnails that you see are of a character that is actually very big. Another thing that I mentioned is that I want him to be imposing, and so he needs to be kind of like just huge. He needs to look big. Like if you think of something that is imposing, what I think about is really brolic people, right? Like think of Brock Lesnar, to any of you guys that watch UFC or wrestling, or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's brolic, son. Like that dude is brolic. So I know brolic is a I think that's a New York word. So anyone that's not from New York, basically that means he's really ripped. That's the best way I can say it. So anyway, back to the process. So right now, I'm just sketching a new idea. I felt that the thumbnails just weren't as good as I thought they would be. There were some cool ideas within them. So I did take some of those ideas and going into this sketch right here. I happened to kind of land on something, and I keep evolving this design that you're seeing right now of this lava creature, and I kind of just go with it. So I just keep evolving it, keep adding things, taking things away, and that's pretty much it. So right now what I was thinking was the bottom half of his body would be lava, and I feel like this first design follows that 70-30 ratio. Hold on for a second, let me get some water. My mouth is dying right now. Excuse me. Anyway, so I want the bottom half of his body to be lava, so it could follow the 70-30 ratio better. 70-30 ratio basically is that it's going to be 30% detail, 70% of rest. So I was thinking maybe his chest area and parts of his face would be all the detail, and the rest of his body would be rest areas, big areas that you can look at, understand really quickly, and then looking back at the rest of his body, you see a lot of detail. So that was the initial idea, and I think when doing it, I know that I could get a little overboard, and I felt that I did get a little bit overboard in the end, but I still feel that it kind of works, but not as good as it did work in the initial sketch. So I mean, you guys can let me know, give me a critique on what you guys personally think and believe. But right now, my personal opinion, I feel that I kind of maybe have went a little overboard with the details, because I mean, you guys will see it. I'll point it out when it gets to that point. So right now, what you guys see me doing is a line art over top of the initial sketch. So that's really all I did. You see these 2 sketches that I did, and you know, the way I kind of approach line arts now is, right now I'm kind of keeping everything the same width as far as like line width, and so the brush size is all the same throughout, except when you look at that horn, I was using a different brush. I ended up getting rid of that and redoing it, but yeah, really I just I think I'm using a soft brush, and the size of my brush is like a 9, but then again my document size is big, so that's why a 9 brush seems very small like it is right now. I'll tell you guys right now, depending on your document size, that your brush size will be affected as well. So a 9 size brush would look bigger on a smaller document, basically. Yeah, so enough of that stuff. Let's get back to this. So yeah, basically this is, I'm following the sketch, and I'm also adding in things that weren't in the initial sketch. So like different details and different shadow marks and scratches and things like that onto the character. So I think it's best to, it's okay not to have the perfect sketch. I mean, you could always add things in the line art phase that you feel that will be appropriate and work really well for the character. So that's pretty much exactly what I did. And really fast, as you see right now, I am fixing the horn, but really quickly, as you guys notice on the left arm, because I believe I'm going to be working on it pretty soon, actually I believe like now, I wanted to pretty much follow anatomy of like a real person, and the original version that that I put onto the left, his arm just didn't look right. It just didn't look like it would function, and I want to put emphasis on function, like, because if this was to be modeled and rigged, like, how does this arm really move? Like, it doesn't look like it would move in the right direction. Like, we're human beings, so if I'm relating the character to a human, it has to follow, I guess, similar function to us. And I feel like that's no different with the arm. And I felt that if I follow the muscles of an actual shoulder muscle, or the deltoid, then everything would work a lot better. So that's pretty much why I ended up getting rid of the original version, and I'm trying to design a new version. So I did struggle a bit with this. There is no rule book to how you're supposed to think about these things, so I kind of had to go with my instinct and kind of just struggle through this. And struggle's good. You tend to learn a lot. You tend to have to think a bit more, and not go on like autopilot. So in this sense, I was just like, okay, let's just try to follow the anatomy of a shoulder muscle and a pectoral leading into the shoulder muscle as best as possible. And I believe I do change the pectoral muscle a bit, his pecs, a bit, just to make the flow a lot better. But this is just all, it seems simple. I guess it is simple in a way, to not make things complicated. And I feel like before it was just too complicated, so let's try to simple it down a bit. I still want it to look interesting. Of course, I don't want it to be a perfect representation of the shoulder, but if it does look similar, it gives you something relatable to look at, in my opinion. So an average viewer, average gamer that looks at this, he's like, yo, this dude's shoulder muscle is mad ripped, and he can automatically know that this is his shoulder muscle. Like, even if it's just there like it was before and it looked wrong, even the average person, I believe, will pick that up and be like, yeah, that looks weird. Like, it looks weird, but not in a good way. But at least if it follows the muscles but still looks weird, it'll look weird but in a good way. I hope that makes sense. At least it makes sense in my head. That's pretty much what I was thinking. So I still want to be creative with it, and that's why he has different spikes and different things coming out of his shoulder. That's not something normal that you see, but because the lines kind of follow the flow of a shoulder going into the biceps and everything like that, it looks good, to me at least. You guys can let me know what you guys think. So and one thing, when I look back at this, I'm not sure if the 70-30 ratio works very well within this design, only because he's a boss, right? And the main thing you want to pay attention to, I guess, is the arms and his head. But I guess the 70-30 ratio works in a way that, just because these are the simple areas, they're going to be these big glowing arms. Well, I actually didn't make them glowing in the end, but there's these big objects that you're going to have to mainly focus on. And then there's also his face. So I believe I could have, split the details and everything a lot better. Maybe I should have made his arms have more of the detail than worrying about his shoulder, which isn't going to do much. There's a lot of different things I could have thought about and wrote down, but right now I could definitely learn from this and take notes on this character design. I do believe things worked, some things didn't, but I finished the design at least, so that's the most important part, instead of just leaving it in the dust in the realm of uncompleted work. That's the worst. It's a very bad habit of mine, of starting stuff and not finishing it. So at the end of the day, finishing is more important than being perfect. So that was the main thing. So it's finished, but it's not perfect. And I could always go back, redesign this lava creature and make it like 10 times better, right? I could leave that for another time. But for right now, just finish it and learn from it. So I learned that the character, could have been done a lot better. I could have distributed details in different areas and made rest areas in different places. This is something I'm still learning, and this is another reason why I wasn't really confident when it comes to designing and creating concept characters. This is one thing that I still need to practice, and this is one thing that I fail at a lot. And that feeling of failure, after a while, in the beginning, I would say that I was okay with it. But after a while, after failing like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, I'm just like, damn, man, like, when am I going to get this right? I don't get this. Maybe I should quit. Maybe concept art is not for me. But look, I need to just suck it up, push through, and get this work done, right? At the end of the day, it's about just finishing. That's it. Just finish what it is. And if there's something that didn't work, or something I didn't like, or you don't like when you're designing something, take note of it and apply it to your next character. So whenever I do a boss character or any character, I will remember my past failure as, okay, what did I fail at, and what can I try to improve with my new character. Even in my Moons character, I feel that there was a problem that came up and someone mentioned it. I believe his name is Johnny Panda. I believe he's on Zbrush, and he commented on one of my videos before. So if you see this video, man, thank you for that critique you gave me. I can always redesign Moons, and I still like Moons. He's not perfect, but he's still a really good character. I still believe he's really cool. Compared to this boss character that I created, this lava creature, I don't like him as much. There are elements I do enjoy and I do like, but I feel that they could have been done better. So yeah, that's really it. So I've been skipping out and mentioning a couple things. So as you guys can see, let's get back to this creature. Again, like I said, he's based off anatomy. As you can see with the legs, I'm kind of getting these lines to follow the anatomy of like real muscles within the legs. So when people see it, they kind of get this resemblance, because a lot of people know what anatomy looks like in a way, or kind of know little things. So just following that, loosely, can make for a good, interesting character. This is, I guess, a tip that I got off of Mark Brunette, and kind of something I believe he mentioned before, and kind of like how he goes about designing stuff and to make it easier for himself. And I always, when you look at Metal Gear Solid, let's say Raiden, like his body and his, like, I forget exactly what it's called. It's like something exoskeleton, like those follow anatomy. I never understood why I liked it when I was younger or as a kid and even growing up, until I heard somebody just say, oh, when you design, you just follow the anatomy and you're gonna get something good. Basically, when I was like, wait, what? And it was like a revelation. It was like, I just realized, like, yo, that's it. This is that ha moment that, yo, just follow this and you'll be able to do something cool. So, yeah, that's why when I design now, I just follow anatomy. So, for something like this, for something, pretty organic, it makes things easier. So, right now, you see me checking off and giving X's and question marks to certain things that I put previously in my plan for the character, because I was thinking, okay, what did I do that I did well and what worked? And yeah, that's really it. I just wanted to see if I was following what I wrote down, and I followed, I guess, a majority of what I had, and everything worked out. So again, like I said, I do like elements of this character. I mean, he doesn't work perfectly, but I feel that it is finished. Like, as a line art, this is perfect. I feel that maybe I should approach coloring differently and go back and just redo my approach to it. But I can. But again, I'm not completely satisfied with it. I still feel that it is a finished concept and design. I added the colors I wanted. Maybe I didn't distribute colors the way I should have. But right now, look, I can't worry about that, because I'm just going to get in a loop of just not finishing this at all. I'm really going to just aim to be perfect. I mean, if there's something that's really not working, then hey, I can always go back at a later time, fix it. I do plan on redesigning this character anyway. But again, the whole goal is don't try to be perfect. I mean, it's not going to work out in the long run. I mean, everything's not going to be perfect. So just work on finishing it. And that was the goal for this. I did think about weaknesses for the character, and kind of like, how would you beat this character if he was really a boss? So I gave him this kind of core in the middle of his chest, and I am thinking that he is going to be a bigger character than you. So maybe in the game there's a lock on function where you can lock on to its heart, which is the core in the middle of his chest. So you would basically attack that. Maybe while he's using his big old fist and he's hitting the ground, he gets stuck. I'm thinking of just a whole bunch of gameplay stuff. He punches the ground, it gets stuck there, and it gives you an opportunity to climb on top of him and attack different parts of his body, and then eventually be able to get to his core and attack that and cut it out, and then boom, you kill him. End of the boss battle. I think it'd be pretty cool and pretty epic. That does sound really cool. So, yeah. Speaking of coloring, the first thing I'm actually doing is values. So, values are always important. I feel that my ability and understanding of form is not as good as it could be. So, every opportunity to work on values and actually, have to think about form is always the best thing I can do for myself. Instead of kind of like, if I just went straight to color, added the ambient occlusion, and added kind of like I would have kind of lazied it out. And it's not even a word, but I would have been kind of more lazy if I did the straight to color approach with things. So to make myself work harder and make my brain work a lot more, I decided to do the values. So I was forced to think about forms, and this is only to help better myself as an artist. To walk away and kind of run away from these simple fundamentals would only hurt me. And so I decided, well, look, do the values and then add the color on top. Do every step one by one. Do the sketch, then line art, then values, then color. This makes it so much easier to just focus on the little things and only certain things during the aspects of the entire process. In the beginning, as when I was working on the line art and during this whole, this time of me talking about what I've been doing, I've only been really working on the design of the character. That was it. Now at this point, the design is done, and I'm working on the values, which now I have to think about form and lighting. So just keeping things very simple. And I really did give it a pretty simple light setup, kind of like a top down, view, but you can't make everything all dark and black. I did make his feet darker than normal, but those things you won't really notice or really have to worry about. His legs are pretty simple, but that's nothing you're going to look at while in game or really in film. You're really going to be looking at his face and his huge arms. That's kind of what I want you guys to look at, but I feel that maybe the shoulder detail might be a little too much. But again, maybe with colors, I could have broken up the shapes even more to make it even more, easy to read. So, hey, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Right now, I'm adding colors, and again, I'm done with the values. I just did a very simple pass, to all the forms. And now I'm just kind of adding in the grays and painting over like a pinkish purple base. So, just very lightly. So there's still some purple in some areas. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not doing too much with the colors. Nothing too crazy, nothing like that. Just keeping it simple. And that's really it, guys. That's pretty much it for the entire process. Again, I'm giving it very muted colors. And then I'm giving like lava highlights all over. I'm pretty much coloring in. I'm coloring over top of the lines. And yeah, guys, that's really it for the entire process. I saw, from one of you guys, you said that you like this format. So I hope that you like this video. I hope you were able to learn something from this. Again, this is another 20-minute video. I know I've been saying I don't want to do 20-minute videos, or I don't mind them, but I don't want to do too much. So that's why I am also releasing a quick speed paint of an experiment that I did. Again, I just want to finish it. The goal was to finish and not be perfect, and also just testing. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this has been entertaining and very fun, and I will hopefully, and I will really try to see you guys next week. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe, share, comment, like the video. But if you didn't like it, that's okay. You could put a dislike as well. I don't mind. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.